Here we are again, back on the syndicate water, just for a day session this time. I wanted to get down here earlier, but things didn't quite go according to plan, as they never do with me. So, welcome to this week's log. Right, I'm going to run you through my Zig setup now. Basically, it's simple. The bomb link is £22 amnesia, and it's about 1 foot long. Now, normally when you tighten your knots down, you give them a bit of moisture, but I pull my knots down on the bomb link dry, which will give you a breaking strain of approximately, I don't know, 11-12 pound. That runs on the main line. Below that, there's an 8mm bead, sort of a buffer bead. Onto the Zig float. Now, Fox do a Zig kit, Corda do a Zig kit, I think Nash do a Zig kit, and their Zig kits anywhere between 10 and 15 quid each. So for 3 rods, that's 45 quid. My Zig float for 3 rods cost me less than a tenner. They are the Drennan number 4 subfloat that are available in the pike section of your local tackle shop. Free running on the line. Next comes a heli bead, not buffer bead, depending on what you want to call it, so as that the float is not smashing into the swivel. Next is my favourite link swivel, or quick change swivel. Anti-tangle sleeve, and whatever poundage hook length you use. I use £10 double strength. I always have done for my Zig fishing. Floats for fishing, I'll go to £8 double strength. But for Zig fishing, I always use £10. That is tied to a size 8 Drennan boilie hook. And then there's your hook bait. I've got a bit of black foam on there. You can get these Zig bugs, small pop-up, whittled down a bit, different coloured foams, don't really matter, I don't suppose. For casting out, I use something that it always used to be in people's tackle boxes, but I've seen very few people use it these days. they're more content to use PVA string. I use PVA tape, and all I do is get the hook point, can't do it now, and just pierce it into the PVA tape. Hook length, depending on the depth of water I'm fishing, is either 3 foot or 6 foot. Doing that prevents tangles. You cast out, as your lead hits the water, you put your brakes on. You know, you rim your spool. As soon as the lead hits the water, you take your finger off, so that the subfloat comes straight up. On my rod, I have an aftermarket line clip. That is positioned exactly 1 foot away from the end of the reel seat, so as that, you know, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3. If I'm using a 3 foot hook length, right, I know the bait is exactly on the surface. Just give it a little bit, or 6 inches, or another foot, or 2 foot, until you get to the depth you require. And that's about it, really. My main line is, on this reel, is 13 pound. I can't get bloody foot out. And it's a Nash BP10. So it's like a mini big pit reel. So yeah, very simple insight into my Zig kit, my Zig rig. I don't do a lot of Zig fishing, I will be honest, but when I do, that's the setup that I use. I mean, when you're casting out, that's what you got. And you cast out, the PVA tape melts, leaving the hook to float up above the 3 foot above the, or 6 foot, or however long your hook length is, above the float, and then you can adjust your float to the right depth. I much prefer using a shorter hook length. Especially if I'm fishing. I mean, with this setup, I can effectively zig fish at 5 foot deep and still have room for manoeuvre, you know, to alternate the depths. I don't like the way some people cast out, wind the float down to the lead, and then pay it out. I much prefer to have the lead on the float on the surface and then pull it down. That way I know exactly how far I'm fishing below the surface. Because if you do it the opposite way, say the swim's 7 foot deep, and you cast out and you let out 4 foot, your lead might have landed in a hole that is 6 inches deep. So instead of fishing 2 foot under the surface where you want to be, you could be fishing 2 foot 6 under the surface. I know 6 inches. I know 6 inches don't mean a lot, but yeah, it could mean all the difference between that one take and the next one.